Hi everybody, Bob Wilkie back at you here. Top 10 list of all the secrets to building a successful hockey player. This one has a lot more to do with hockey. This one we're going to call skill development. You know, there's so many opportunities. When I was growing up, there was never any of these. You know, the city of Calgary and the Okanagan Hockey School were pretty much the only two hockey schools going. Now, well, it's all year. Not only all year, but you've got dozens of choices. There's so many things that you need to know and understand about skill development. Questions that you can ask so that you can make sure that you're putting your kid in the right atmosphere for him to really succeed. You know, it's got to be safe. Can't be judgment. We have enough judgment going on in our lives, and the last thing you need to do is put them in the hands of somebody else going to be yelling and screaming or making them feel bad about themselves. A lot can be told of where you're going to send your kid, what camps, based on the references of other people. Ask around. You know what, if you're going to sign them up, send them an email and say, listen, can I have a list of references of people that you've worked with in the past? All too often it looks okay on paper. And we figure, okay, well, it's not too bad. We can spend that kind of money. Let's try it. And it turns out to be a nightmare. And I deal with a lot of those people in the parking lots. It's very difficult to be a good skill developer because a big part of that is communication. A big part of that is understanding that, you know what, that kid doesn't know what he needs to know. One of the best things that I can tell you that I've learned in doing private and one-on-one lessons is asking the kid himself. Okay, so tell me what you know about a slap shot. And they just kind of look at you and go, oh. Okay, how about a skating stride? Bend your knees. Hockey position. Yeah, okay, we got that right. What else? There's so many components that go into it. And until they can repeat it back to me, well, they don't have the level of understanding, so they're never going to get it. How do you make sure that your shot's more accurate? I'm not quite sure. See, they don't know the answers. Why? Because they're just told what to do. And the more that they're told what to do, well, the more they tend to shut down. Makes it more difficult. When we're developing skill, what we have to do is really develop understanding. You have to go through piece by piece. And as you go through piece by piece, using that indirect coaching method that I was talking about, and asking them, okay, so why did it work? Well, it felt like this. Why didn't it work? Well, I could tell right away that I wasn't doing this. Okay, great. So what are we going to focus on now? Well, I'm going to focus on doing it this way. That is great skill development. And the more that you develop the skill in that type of way, that they're having the understanding so that they can make the corrections, that when somebody says you're not doing this, they go, oh, yeah, I know what he's talking about. I'll fix it. No problem. Don't worry. Thanks. Sorry. Well, they're just going to be that much better off. The more kids that you have in a camp, well, the more instructors you need. And there's not too many instructors that I've found out there that are great developers of skill. Sure, they can run drills and they can push pucks, and you know what? They can even have fun with the kids. And those are huge components as well. But if you're going to spend the money and the time, and they're going to spend the time and the commitment, well, you know what? In order to keep them motivated, you have to make sure that you're putting them into the atmosphere that they need to succeed. Be very choosy. Take your time. Ask for references. What's your philosophy? Have you ever heard of indirect coaching? Who are the coaches out there? What experience do they have? Now, some of these people are going to get irritated and say, well, you're asking too many questions. Didn't you read the brochure? Well, that's a telltale sign that you shouldn't be involving your kid in that one. You want to make sure that you understand that your player's skill development is one of the biggest pieces. But it's the development of him as a person and his confidence in his abilities that's going to determine how motivated he can stay, how strong that love is. Because just like the hockey season and the atmosphere that they're in there can deter that love and taint that love and unmotivate them, well, so can those camps. You know, a lot of times we want it so bad for our kids that we just see it and we sign them up and we tell them, we signed you up for this. Okay. And they go along with it. And then on the ride home, you're getting mad because their effort isn't as good. Well, it's because they're not motivated. It's no fun. The coach makes me feel bad. I can't turn to the right, and I know that I can't turn to the right, and he makes fun of me every time that I do it. You know, these are the types of things that sometimes we don't get to see because we're not asking the right questions. If you're not seeing that motivated, driven young hockey player like you've seen in the past, there's something wrong. And up till now, you've been given 6 wonderful opportunities to really create a whole new dialogue, to create a whole new level of understanding about what this game really is and what it can provide. Also, what can happen. There's some long-lasting effects, and we talked about that in love, that emotional scarring. I'll tell you what, it is very dangerous. The more that we can put the kids in the right situation, well, you know what, the better off we're going to be. And we do want to put them in some challenging ones, but not until we have the level of understanding that we're sure that we can teach the lessons that need to be taught. I know as a parent, well, that's probably the scariest part. If you're going to put them into skill development, ask those key questions. Ask him, most importantly, if it's something that he'd be willing to participate in. Well, and why? What makes it so fun? Why is Billy saying that it's a great thing to do? Is it just because they scrimmage all the time? Because you know what? You'd be better off renting ice, getting a bunch of people together and letting them scrimmage, than you would be paying all that dough for someone else to watch them scrimmage. My name's Bob Wilkie, and this has been number 7 in the top 10 secrets to building a successful hockey player. And today we were talking about skill development. I hope it helped you, and I look forward to seeing you in number 8 as we start to wrap this up.